We are coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios. This is Prime News on SABC 3 and in your top stories at this hour.
We have several warnings. Yet most of them are for severe thunderstorms, significant mainly over the northern parts of Gauteng into the southwestern parts of Mpumalanga.
First up, the South African Weather Service has forecast above normal rainfall across most parts of the country this summer.
As we speak now, we have put a lot of effort around the Basotho ports, which is here in Fixbeck, in Maseru, in Caledon's Sport, in Van Rooyen's Gate, Mononsa Pass.
The Border Management Authority has embarked on intensified law enforcement operations at the Fixbeck port of entry between the Free State and Lesotho.
We are working on making sure that the system is stable before that, but we will make sure that it is stable by Christmas.
And Johannesburg Water has assured residents that the current water challenges will be resolved just before Christmas. The conversation has begun. It is a Thursday night and we are bringing you the top stories of the day. Welcome to Prime News on SABC 3. My name is Beki Mutumomolete. Let's get into the agenda of what is currently influencing the globe. Up next, your leads for this evening. The South African Weather Service has forecast above normal rainfall across most parts of the country this summer. Rainfall is expected on Christmas Day, continuing into the new year. Scientists and forecasters have attributed this to the ongoing La Niña weather phenomenon, which heightens the risk of heavy downpours, leading to localized flooding.
The South African Weather Service has warned of higher than normal summer rainfall driven by the La Niña weather pattern affecting the northern, central and eastern parts of the country. This includes the province of KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng, Mpumalanga and the Free State. The persistent rainfall could ultimately dampen some holiday plans and increase the risk of localized flooding, especially in flood-prone areas.
We have several warnings, yet most of them are for severe thunderstorms, significant mainly over the northern parts of Gauteng into the southwestern parts of Mpumalanga, which also covers the Highveld. It is a yellow level 4 warning, which means it's a low likelihood, but the significant impacts are expected, which are expected to result in heavy downpours that lead to localized flooding, a possibility of damaging winds, as well as a possibility of hail and excessive lightning over those areas.
One scientist explained that the La Niña weather pattern is expected to last for 2 to 3 months, although in rare cases it can persist for up to 2 years, which is considered unlikely at this stage.
We still expect with quite a high confidence of the summer season, so in this case we're talking about the December, January, February season specifically, to be above normal for most parts of the summer rainfall areas, which again is the central to northeastern parts. Again, just more confidence for that to occur. We do not expect, however, for this to extend much further than the midsummer.
The Weather Service has urged people to remain vigilant and avoid crossing flooded bridges. People are also encouraged to take all warnings issued by the Weather Service seriously, particularly those living in low-lying areas and informal settlements. Balentle Mtetwa, SABC News, Johannesburg.
The search for a 17-year-old teenager from Verulam who went missing while swimming at a beach in Mdloti on the KwaZulu-Natal north coast has been suspended for the day due to poor visibility. On Wednesday, the teenager and 2 friends were swimming at a section of the beach where bathing was prohibited when they were apparently encountered by some problems. The teenager's 2 friends, aged 18 and 19, were rescued by lifesavers who responded to their calls for help. But the 17-year-old could not be found. Rescuers resumed the search today, but murky water conditions impeded visibility and the search was suspended. The authorities have urged beachgoers to always swim at lifeguard-patrolled beaches.
The search continued into the late evening last night and was called off due to poor visibility and light, and then it reconvened this morning. So the current is going from south to north. We're going to concentrate more on the northern side of the tidal pool and utilising our search and rescue services as well as eThekwini lifeguards have been doing patrols along the beach as well as in the water with powercraft and rescue boards. The water visibility is between 1 and 2 meters, so obviously utilizing technology like drones won't be of assistance. And then obviously with the longer the search goes on for, the bigger the area becomes. So it's almost like looking for a needle in a haystack, but we're still very positive that we'll be able to retrieve the 17-year-old. Very possible there could be an entrapment. Otherwise, also the area where he was swept out is a natural rip, which could mean he could have gone further north, or washed further out. So it's very difficult. The further the person goes into the ocean, the bigger the area that we've got to cover to search.
In other news, the Borders Management Authority is intensifying law enforcement operations as part of the festive season security plan to address the influx at ports of entry. The plan entails strengthened multi-layered security measures aimed at ensuring safe, efficient and well-coordinated border management during the high-traffic festive period.
The movement of people and vehicles are expected to surge at the various ports of entry this festive season. The increase comes with the challenge of illegal migration. The Caledon River between South Africa and Lesotho is one of the infamous rivers known for illegal crossings between the two neighboring countries. The BMA has intensified technological measures to intercept undocumented migrants and curb smuggling and illegal border crossings.
So that is something that we deal with across the various ports. And of course, here at Fixbeck, we do know that that is one of the challenges. You will remember that even in terms of our previous statistical view, we did indicate that the majority of the people intercepted attempting to enter the country illegally is always led by Basotho, followed by Zimbabweans, and then by Mozambicans. So as we speak now, we put a lot of effort around the Basotho ports, which is here in Fixbeck, in Maseru, in Caledon Sport, in Van Rooyen's Gate, Mononsa Pass, and all of those.
The Border Management Authority admitted that it has been plagued by a staff shortage.
Obviously, one of the biggest challenges has been the issue of human capacity, but at the same time, we're able to speak with the Department of Tourism. They have given us some tourism monitors, and we've been able to use them to be able to help us to facilitate the movement of people here in terms of queue management and the like.
The festive season operation will also be carried out at the Maseru and Lebombo border posts. Makhala Masideng, SABC News, at the Fixbeck port of entry.
Johannesburg Water has assured residents that the current water challenges will be resolved just before Christmas. Various communities around Johannesburg are experiencing water shortages due to annual maintenance work. Briefing the media in Midrand, Johannesburg City Manager Dr. Floyd Brink and top officials confirmed that the water supply in most of these areas are gradually stabilizing.
It's been a few days without water for many residents around Johannesburg after the shutdown by bulk water supplier Rand Water for maintenance work. Water tankers, an interim solution, but an unpleasant experience for many, especially this time of the year. Updating the media on developments, Johannesburg Water apologized for the inconvenience and promise that the water-related frustrations will be over before Christmas.
Our plan, we're working towards making sure that the system is stable by Christmas. In fact, we are working on making sure that the system is stable before that, but we will make sure that it is stable by Christmas.
The Johannesburg City Manager says much pressure is felt in Midrand due to some reservoirs that ran completely dry.
While the bulk water system has been restored and several systems across the city are gradually stabilizing, the Midrand supply system remains the most constrained and has not yet fully recovered. On average, this takes, as I've indicated, 5 days. We have just concluded the second day of that recovery. We expect to see some significant improvement in the greater Midrand area within the next 48 hours.
About 67 water tankers and 158 stationary tanks were deployed across Johannesburg, pending the ongoing maintenance work. Patricia Fasache, SABC News, in Midrand.
When we return, the Madlanga Commission has officially handed over its interim report to the President as per the 17th of December 2025 deadline. We'll bring you more after the short break. Welcome back to Prime News on 3. The Madlanga Commission has officially handed over its interim report to the President as per the 17th of December 2025 deadline. This was confirmed by the Madlanga Commission through a statement released in the early hours of the morning. The said report delves into the first 3 months of hearings into allegations of criminality, political interference and corruption in the criminal justice system. The Commission has so far heard 37 witnesses over 45 days of hearings, ranging from public to partially public hearings, with one also being in camera. The interim report is expected to give a sense of the kind of problem, if any, that the country may be facing in the criminal justice system. Its contents, however, will not be made available to the public.
President Ramaphosa will study the interim report while the Commission, which is in recess, prepares to hear further testimony from new witnesses or persons who have previously testified. The President has expressed his appreciation for the interim report, as well as his expectation that the Commission will, as part of its terms of reference, refer actions thought to be criminal acts for prosecution.
Next up, the Umkhonto weSizwe party has stated that it will go to court to seek yet another motion of no confidence against KwaZulu-Natal Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli. But this time, they want it to be a secret ballot. On Monday, the MK party failed in its bid to remove Ntuli and attributed it to members of the provincial legislature from other parties, fearing for their safety.
Ending the year on a setback, but the third largest party in the National Assembly and the official opposition in KwaZulu-Natal says it's not done with the matter.
We can't be naive and think members of provincial legislature in KZN are immune from the possibility of being killed by criminals and political thugs. So that is why we said, let's go to the secret ballot, where all of us, if MK loses, we'll accept it. We accepted it last time, despite how the voting was taking place.
Mzobe says something untoward is happening in KwaZulu-Natal. He argued that the MK party had received the most votes in the province in last year's elections, but it's on the periphery of power.
Democratic principle says the one who got the highest number of votes must form government. Now in KZN, something that we have not seen in all fairness, MK got 45%, and opposition gang up, and Helen Zille says it openly, that will never allow KZN to be led by MK, despite 45%, higher than Cyril Ramaphosa, higher than Panyaza, but everyone was saying, no, it can't happen that MK must lead.
Regarding the changes in the top leadership of the party, Mzobe says it was expected as the MK party was still establishing itself. He says going into the local government elections next year, all will be well with its leadership. Madlanga Commission, SABC News, Johannesburg.
After the break, Bafana legends say that togetherness and playing as a unit will stand Bafana in good stead in their 2026 AFCON campaign in Morocco. Details to follow when we return. Thank you for staying with us. Experts have shared smart planning tools for consumers to make it through the December and January pay dates. An analysis by Standard Bank of salaried workers' pay cycles shows that the gap between December and January pay dates is longer than any other month. With public holidays, shutdowns and year-end leave, the festive season fast-tracks the December payroll cycle.
For many South Africans, January feels like the longest month, given the early December salary having to cover both Christmas and back-to-school costs. Experts say this extended gap can make managing money in early January especially challenging, heightening financial anxiety at a time when households are recovering from festive spending. That pressure comes despite the fact that household finances were relatively resilient for much of 2025.
We also saw inflation ease to 3.5% in November 2025, which does then help support real household incomes. However, third quarter economic growth data suggests and it shows that household consumption growth is starting to slow, and we expect that softer momentum to continue into the fourth quarter.
Head of Consumer Financial Education at Old Mutual, John Manyike says there are a number of tools consumers can use to hold on to their hard-earned money.
The first pitfall is people not going into the festive season with a budget. Number two, not prioritizing the essential stuff. Number three, sometimes this whole influence where you have visitors or friends, that's where things go wrong because you want to impress people.
Looking ahead to 2026, household financial resilience is expected to continue, although at a slower pace. Nosipho Khatebe, SABC News, Johannesburg.
It is now time for us to take a look at your latest market update as recorded at 7:30 this evening. In your sports update, members of South Africa's 1996 Africa Cup of Nations Cup winning team have all the faith in the world in the current crop. Dr. Khumalo and Andrea Renz say that togetherness in this current team is reminiscent of their team, which was coached by the late Clive Barker. South Africa play their first match against Angola in Marrakesh on Monday.
South African soccer experienced its golden years in the mid to late 1990s. In 1996, Bafana won their first and only AFCON title. And 2 years later, they were off to France for the 1998 FIFA World Cup. There are a number of similarities between the team from back then and the one from now. Since Hugo Broch's appointment as Bafana coach 4 years ago, the team has been on an upward trajectory. They'll be playing in their second successive AFCON tournament and will be off to the Americas next year for their first FIFA World Cup in 16 years.
I'm excited about this Bafana squad. I've got to tell you, I've watched them play now in qualifying campaigns, friendly matches, and I like what I see because it's reminiscent of our '96 squad and the way they set themselves up. I see a togetherness in the way that the team plays, and that's what we had in '96.
Another Bafana legend, Dr. Khumalo, has urged Bafana senior players to guide the youngsters in Morocco.
Well, the young players in the squad, obviously, they just have to be guided by the senior players because they have more experience. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't restrict the boys to play according to their strength. So they just have to go out there and enjoy it.
The 2025 Africa Cup of Nations tournament will get underway on Sunday with the host Morocco playing Comoros in Rabat. Pesinka to SABC News.
Biannual Africa Cup of Nations tournament kicks off in Morocco on Sunday. The continent's football showpiece has grown in stature and prestige over recent years. And this year's tournament promises to be just as good, if not better, than the previous edition in Ivory Coast. Here's some key information about the tournament, brought to you by Reuters' David Doyle in just 60 seconds.
Here's everything you need to know about the Africa Cup of Nations in 60 seconds. Morocco are hosting this year's 24-team AFCON, their first match against the Comoros in Rabat. That opener takes place on Sunday, the finals also on a Sunday, January the 18th, 2026. Home advantage and good form mean Morocco are heavily fancied for success. But Egypt, Senegal, Algeria and Nigeria also look like top contenders. At the other end of the spectrum, the likes of Botswana, Zimbabwe, Sudan, the Comoros and Tanzania will hope to cause an upset. Key players include AFCON stalwarts like Egypt's Mo Salah and Senegal's Sadio Mane. Galatasaray's Victor Osimhen has often been integral to Nigeria's form. Morocco have current African Footballer of the Year, PSG's Achraf Hakimi. They say they're confident of his full recovery from an ankle injury in time for Sunday's opener.
It is now time for us to take you to where science meets the skies, where the team is on standby with the precise details. Your forecast is coming up next.
Good evening. Let's take a look at all your weather details for the next couple of days. We've got clear conditions in the west of South Africa overnight. Be on the lookout for wind speeds in the northern parts of Cape Town, up to about 50 kilometers an hour on the northern parts of the Cape Peninsula. Partly cloudy skies dominating the central parts of the country, with widespread showers expected for the KwaZulu-Natal coastline. Scattered rainfall for Gauteng, Mpumalanga, Limpopo and parts of the northwest province. Ahead towards the start of the weekend, we've got partly cloudy skies again through the central parts. Isolated showers expected in the Free State on towards the eastern escarpment, with scattered rainfall further northwards in South Africa. That's for Gauteng, Limpopo and the northwest province. The west of the country remains to be sunny and clear tomorrow. Wind speeds in the north of the Cape Peninsula still quite high at 45 kilometers an hour on Friday. Now ahead to some alerts for this evening. Please be on the lookout for the potential of severe thunderstorms through the shade of yellow on the map. That's through the north and northeast. And ahead towards tomorrow, severe thunderstorms again a possibility through parts of the Free State and the northwest province, whilst those windy conditions and dry weather could lead to fault fires in the northern parts of the Western Cape. So please keep a lookout for that. Vredendal 14 degrees overnight, Cape Town the same, Gqeberha down to 11, Durban down to 20 this evening, Johannesburg 15, warming up tomorrow to a maximum of 25 degrees, hotter through the northern parts of South Africa, Lepelale and Messina just shy of 30, Durban up to 28 tomorrow, Gqeberha into the mid-20s at 24, Cape Town up to 25, whilst the southern areas of the Northern Cape expecting to be very hot, 37 in Beaufort West and in the west of the country as well, Vredendal and Springbok in the mid-30s. Very hot and hot conditions expected to continue on Saturday for the western coastline of South Africa. Wind speeds up to 50 kilometers an hour along that Cape Peninsula, whilst it'll be partly cloudy again on Saturday through the central parts of the country, with isolated showers in the Northern Cape and the Free State. Scattered rainfall for the Eastern Cape northwards in towards KwaZulu-Natal, whilst it'll be cooler weather in and around Gauteng and the northern parts, with scattered showers expected. That's it from me. Have a great evening ahead.
That's how we wrap up tonight. Thank you for joining us. Please note that there will be no Prime News tomorrow evening due to the cricket broadcast. We are back with you again on Monday, wishing you a fantastic weekend ahead. And until next time, from myself, Becky, and the team, stay ahead and take care.